Hello, happy people. I hope you're having an amazing day today. Today, I've got something really fun for you today. In order to branch out into some other stuff, we're talking about some of the older video games that are out there that are really impactful for me and a lot of other people. And we're going to be talking about Wasteland, the video game. This game was published in the 80s. And I'm going to tell you today why this is my favorite RPG from the 80s. It's better than The Legend of Zelda. It's better than Bard's Tale. It's better than the Moria. It's better than King's Quest, and why I consider it to be the best RPG from the 80s for you folks. So this is a review of Wasteland for you folks. Now, what I'm going to be doing, I've written down my comments that I'm going to be making on this here on my cell phone, and I've copied them over into some notes for you folks. So what we'll do is we're going to take a quick look at it, and I'm going to be looking at my phone a little bit here and there just to let you know what's happening. So basically, in order to start looking at why I consider this game to be so great and so magnificent and so well done, you got to start with who made the game, right? That's the perfect. So let's take a look at that. First, Michael Stackpole. Michael Stackpole, if you're a friend of this channel, is definitely somebody who's a name that's well known. He's written a lot of Battletech stuff. He was heavily influential in the Battletech stuff, as well as other fancy stuff too. And so he is one of the key creators of this. He's written a lot of RPGs and novels and that sort of a thing. Another creator, Liz Danforth, his wife, a painter. I actually have one of her paintings in the Battletech universe. So she's definitely well known. Two, Brian Fargo, the guy who created this, will also create the one that I mentioned earlier, Bard's Tale from Interplay. He also will have created Fallout, which we'll talk about later, which was heavily influenced by this, and it was a spiritual sequel because the Wasteland IP was kept by EA, who published this game. And so they kept it, and they put out a game that actually was sort of supposed to be set in the same world, but it was so bad they removed the Wasteland 2 title from it. And so since Brian Fargo had lost the IP to that, he wanted it back. So he bought it in 2003, and then he did a couple of sequels. So the Fallout was a spiritual sequel to this and such. So Brian Fargo, one of the creators of the video game too. You might also know of David Zeb Cook, one of the authors, one of the creators here. He wrote a lot of stuff in the D&D and AD&D world, like the games systems, like the second edition, as well as a lot of modules and such too. So he's a big name in that area. So those are a lot of big names. You might even know the name of Biju Balfour. Also is a big name in the field too. So that's a lot of big names. So that's where you start from, or who the creators are. Now, I don't think that any early RPG is as strong as this one from the 80s. Now, there are some from the 70s you might make some arguments for. Rogue, for example, if I remember correctly, is from the 70s. So you might make some arguments for Rogue, but I don't think that any early RPG is as strong as this one. Wasteland is a very gritty and strongly realized. And this is basically a post-apocalyptic world that is set. You are a desert ranger, a brand new person, and you can start either with characters from the game that are made for you, which are actually major characters that are in Wastelands 2 and 3, or you can just create your own characters too, and you have 4 characters that you control. It's a party-based combat, and so those are the basic things. You choose various skills. There are not classes in this, which I like. It's one of the early examples of a non-class system. Post-apocalyptic RPG, you're going to be going to places like Quartz and Needles and Las Vegas and exploring that very well. It takes a while of exploring and a lot of hours into the game before you find out what's happening, but once you've done the spoilers, but once you've done this great stuff too. Also, this game has a lot of decisions that matter. Very powerful stuff early in the game. For example, in the city of Quartz, no spoilers again, but you can definitely influence a lot of stuff that happens there. And then there will be changes there. So that's good stuff. So that's sort of the setting and so forth. Now what I want to do is, again, I want to read to you some text from it. I'm going to be reading you some text from the abandoned buildings. Abandoned buildings should be minor things. They shouldn't be major places and such, right? But let me go ahead and read to you some of these things because, Michael Stackpole is definitely a big name, right? So here you can see some of that influence. So these are descriptions as you're moving from one space to another. Abandoned buildings, random text will come up. The wind has been blowing dust and leaves into this room so long that it is almost 3 feet deep. There used to be a door here a long time ago. The old brick walls are slowly crumbling and falling apart. They're rusty with age. The hinge springs close the door after you walk away. The squeaks on this bounce off the walls around you. You get the idea. Some great stuff there. The world's vibrant. Radiation is everywhere. And you actually will have some places in the game that you can't get to early on, but you can, because of the radiation, that you'll die to cross it. And it's very, very strong. It's got tons of detail, tons of characters, tons of real world things to be happening. Great stuff all around. For example, in one city you can hire a 3-legged prostitute. In another city you have to deal with the Temple of the Mushroom Cloud, and so there's a lot of, which is a cult that's come up after the post-apocalypse. So there's a lot of world building from those sorts of things. Great stuff that happens. All right, and then if you're diving into the game, your party can add, like I said, you start with 4 characters, but you can add 3 NPCs to your roster. That will fill out your roster up to 7. So I always choose Ace and Covenant as mine too, and then Christina until I get to the Darwin Village, and then once I get to Darwin Village, one of the 2 survivors that you come across to. So those are my 3 that I always had: Case, Covenant, and Christina until I get there. Good stuff. So now there are some healing items and so forth. There are no healing items. There are no like stim packs like Fallout has. You have to heal slowly over time. Essentially, you do have the doctor and first aid skill that you can use, and you can pay a doctor to fast heal you and also secure connections. So, for example, you can get mortally wounded, seriously wounded, critically wounded. Those sorts of things will need to be healed before you can rest and heal. So there are no healing items to help you out. Love it. So forth. Another key thing here is that there are random encounters, but they never, and they'll give you experience, sure, but they'll never actually give you items. So you have to be fighting people that advance the plot in order to actually get the stuff that you'll need in order to survive. Great stuff. Great stuff. The world is just so well done and so well decided and so forth. So I love that stuff. So here, let me give you another example. The stores will keep an inventory of what you have. So if you buy out the ammo in a store, it won't reload. It won't reload it, or you can't go back. You have to buy another store. And also keep track of what you sold. So if you sold something and later on you realized, actually, I need that item, you can buy it back. No problems. Good stuff. All right, great stuff. If you kill an enemy with a gun, you get normal experience points, but if you charge in with an axe or a spear and kill it in melee, you're going to get double experience points. So there is an encouragement for you to fight melee and a benefit for doing so, rather than just fighting straight up with weapons and such. Good stuff. Love it lots. The NPCs in your party won't always let you trade items back. Very realistic, particularly with armor or weapons that they're wielding, right? This is one of the reasons why I stick away from one character, because that character, in my opinion, always, he's got great stats, but he always will refuse it. So I don't like using him. As a result, those are the reasons I use Covenant and the one from Darwin Village. Good stuff. Whenever you are... So Wasteland, like I said, is such a great game. It's so well done. It's so well decided. It's full of flavor. It's exciting. It's an advanced gaming system and so forth. And I typically will go back to it and play it every few years. So what I'll do to you is I'll actually link you below to the Wasteland on Steam. You can play the original game on Steam, as well as there's also a reconstructed version, but I haven't played it. An extended version, basically, of the original game. Again, haven't played it, so I don't have a whole lot of experience with it. But good stuff there. I'll link you to it in the comments below. Unfortunately, like I said, Interplay lost the rights afterwards, so Fallout. But Fallout's great. I think you'll see Fallout's spiritual successful for it, and there are things in Wasteland that happen. For example, you can hire a companion in Fallout 1 who is a desert ranger, right from Wasteland, right? And so this desert area that you're protecting are the deserts, like in the Southwest and those sorts of areas. Good stuff is happening. So the game was definitely huge and ahead of its time. Loved it. It was a big influence on a lot of other games and so forth. I'm giving it a total 10 out of 10 for you folks. So that is why Wasteland is my favorite RPG from the 80s for any system or game or home game system. Now this is available in a lot of different places: PC, Apple. It was it was available on a lot of systems. I played it on PC, as I just showed you. Again, I'll link you to some other places. I don't know if it's on GOG or not. If it is, I'll link you to there too. And there you are. That's Wasteland. Have you played it? If so, what'd you think about it? Let's talk about it in the comments below, whatever your thoughts are. If you agree or disagree, I tend not to talk about it too. As a reminder, this channel's name is The Worst Thing About New Books. It's a quote by a French philosopher, and his comment was, the new stuff keeps us from playing the classic old stuff, right? In this case, the classic old stuff's a video game, but reading the older stuff too. That's the key part of this channel for you folks. And then, if you like this video, why not hit the like button, the bell icon if you're feeling frisky, and the subscribe button, and then let your friends know too. And then finally, I want to pause and thank you so much for taking some time out of your day and investing it and watching my video, because we all have so many things that are happening right in our lives, and we're pulled in so many different directions. So the fact that you spent this time with me, that's incredibly humbling, and I appreciate it. So thanks again, and have an amazing day.